lot of history between these two guys.
Oh yeah, a lot of history between them. They have been rivals for many, many years, even before Legacy of the Void, even in Heart of the Swarm. And here they face off in the grand finals of ESL Open Cup Asia, number 153.
That's a lot of ESL Open Cup Asias. As we kick things off here on inside and also out, we're in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have our red Protoss player coming out from the land of Korea. He, of course, is going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG. He is herO.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of inside now, we have his opponent representing Onside Gaming. South Korean Zerg player, it is Solar.
Oh.
And I was...
What?
You go on.
Yeah. Battle of the married players.
There's a lot of married players nowadays, to be fair.
Hey, they actually are, yeah. They're growing up.
Yeah,
Harstem's getting married even.
Harstem, yeah, yo, shout out to Harstem. Recently got engaged like 24 hours ago. Mazel tov.
Yeah. L'chaim.
Fala,
That's what they say
galera.
in the Netherlands, right?
There you go.
Ganbai. That's what they say in the Netherlands, I think.
I need you to calm down, buddy. Oh my god, but yeah, Dark is married, herO, Solar. I don't think any of the major Terran players are married. I don't know what that says about the Terrans.
Coincidence?
They're too busy smurging on the ladder, puppy. They just don't have time for no relationships. Ay, ay, ay.
Hey, the Muslims are dad.
True, is he?
Wait, you said players.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, he's an AoE player, kind of, you know? He plays Age of Empires.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. But we'll see how this all turns out in the end. So far, nothing too crazy. herO does force the unnatural natural out of Solar. And I'm really excited to see what herO has in store for us, because he is a very aggressive player and also can be unpredictable as well. He has been switching things up. He hasn't just been going for the same triple Oracle opener game after game after game.
Yeah. I think once he's won a tournament with that style, or off the back of that style, he really kind of realized, okay, players, especially Zerg players, are going to analyze my play from here on out. I'm going to have to figure something else out. That's really probably herO's greatest strength. He's just really adaptable and really decisive when he needs to be.
Exactly, and he has just such great control and micro in a way very reminiscent of a Beyond, just for the Protoss race instead. I mean, we kind of glossed over it, but herO was even delaying the third base. It's not something you see too often, but he went for a pylon block as well, so yeah, just being as annoying as possible, flexing his APM. Oh.
I think there's probably a lot of players, especially a lot of CJ players, or not CJ players, but, you know, a lot of ex-Pro League players who probably say that is actually herO's greatest strength. He is as annoying as possible.
Ay, feels bad, man. But here we go. The first Oracle is coming across the map. We have two Queens set up here, so despite not having a Spore, we do have enough to push this away, but not before 3 drones go down.
Yeah, decent damage so far. I mean, whatever you can really do as a Protoss player to keep the Zerg economy back. Solar is actually down a surprising amount of drones.
Yeah, he was forced to make Lings earlier on, and he's been really struggling to rebuild here. And I was talking about how herO doesn't have to go for this style, but I do love this. He is in fact going for his third Oracle here, as he does set up his third base behind it.
Yeah. No need to really rock the boat, and I mean, the Oracles do give him as much map control as possible. Eventually, Solar is going to look to make use of these Lings that he made earlier on. But that's why you have the oracles. You know, they absolutely shred through Lings like nothing.
Yeah, and honestly, there aren't that many Lings, so here we go. 2 oracles try to dip into the main base. Solar's in position. We have the 3rd oracle coming in towards the natural, but we have a spore. Again, Solar did his due diligence, so hero shouldn't be able to deal too much damage. Yeah, it does take a bit of hull damage in the end.
Yeah, okay, not enough queens in position to really threaten that oracle, so all of them will survive. They can continue to provide utility as the game continues. My eyes are on Solar right now. He needs to do something to get himself back up.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that they've been pretty neck and neck when it comes to the overall worker count. It's something that doesn't happen too often in this matchup. Meanwhile, the Scouting Overlord does get taken out and was able to confirm the gases, was able to confirm the Twilight Council on the 4, so we do have that triple oracle into Blink Stalkers.
So a lot of what we've come to expect from PvZ, at least at least at the start of our best of 5 here.
Yeah, I appreciate the classic hero style. You know, hero's like, mate, this is what I'm known for, and I'm gonna bring it back once again. And we'll see if you have adapted over all these months, over all this time. Can you deal with what I am known for? So I'm really excited to see, especially what Solar's response is gonna be, because he hasn't gone for what a lot of people go for, and that is like a faster Evo chamber for +1 melee.
Yeah, that's usually how Zerg players have responded to the hero Blink Stalker style. You know, you get Ling speed and you get +1 just to really chase down these Stalkers and kill them before they can really be much of a threat. But Solar instead, he prioritizes Galil Reconstitution for his Roaches and now Aspire.
Yeah, we see something very different here. One, the Ling counterattack actually catches a couple Stalkers, gets a 3rd Stalker as well, so a great start for Solar. Meanwhile, he does end up losing a couple of Queens, but he ends up sniping one of those Oracles.
Yeah, well worth a trade here for Solar.
Oh, exactly, and Solar also scouts the transition. Hero isn't going to commit to just pure Blink Stalkers like he usually does. He is transitioning quite quickly into a Bay and into Colossus production.
Oh. Did hero misread this? Because this is absolutely what you would want against the typical Zerg response when it's entirely Lings. But yeah, I guess he wasn't really able to scout that much with his oracles. He doesn't know about the Spire yet, does he?
No, he hasn't scouted the Spire. 2 Oracles are zooming across the map, and it's possible that they will come across this, but Hero's getting into double Colossus production. As you were saying, this is beautiful against Lings, not so much against Roaches, not so much against Mutas, as we do see the Oracles catching another Queen. They don't head in towards the natural base. They're being forced away.
Oh. Another one of them taken out. I guess Hero, now that he does have a Colossus out, he can afford to be a bit more reckless with his oracles. This is an important timing for Hero, though. Hitting before the Mutas can really come into play.
Yeah, but we need the Colossi. Meanwhile, the Mutas had been revealed, but the Colossi are going to make short work of all of these things. Do we have enough anti-air to deal with the Mutas?
Well, there's still plenty of Stalkers on the ground. Enough of them were kept alive that the Mutas are forced to retreat. We have a very quick warp in of a whole ton of Stalkers. Again, the Mutas not quite able to deal with that Warp Prism earlier on. A little bit indecisive from Solar. He was attacking the Colossus, then the Warp Prism, then the Stalkers. Yeah, not... would have served him better to focus on one of those units.
Yeah, as you were saying, indecisive moves from Solar may just cost him the game, as Hero is not letting up that aggression. He's pushing on forward. 1 Colossi, he's got 2 Disruptors as well. Lings aren't going to find too much damage here. The Novas are going to be going off.
Oh man, it was really... I could see it in Solar's eyes. He was trying to bait some friendly fire from that Nova, but Hero, he's one step ahead, man. He kept that Nova right on the edge of the Lings, and I don't see any way, especially without +1 melee, for Solar to really stem the tide of these Stalkers.
Yeah, +1 melee is going to finish up in a couple of seconds, but all the Lings get cleaned up. The Mutas are being targeted down one after the other. We have a couple of trickling in, reinforcing Lings that should be able to barely hold on, but look at how many Mutas have gone down this game.
These are very, very costly units that, you know, weren't even able to go around and harass. It's typically what you want to do as a Zerg player when you get Mutas. You sneak around the army and you really mess up a mineral line.
Yeah, looking at the Unisource tab, 19 Mutas have died this game. That's soon to be 20, and even if Solar holds on here, like Hero, he traded pretty efficiently.
Hero, he's cancelled the apocalypse of Mutas.
Yeah. He did cancel the apocalypse, mate. He is here to seal up that Pacific Rim as the Lings are flooding in towards the natural base. Oh, quite undefended though, so Solar is dealing some counter damage.
Yeah, if you can deal enough counter damage here, then he'll be back on his feet. He'll have a ton of breathing room, and he'll be able to sort of transition and sort of adjust his unit composition from here on out.
Yeah, mate, the wall is not a wall. The Lings continue to flood on in. herO is falling apart a little bit here. He was very committed with his push. Transitioning is going to be a little bit difficult. Finally, he's going to be able to stabilize here, but he needs a fourth base.
Yeah, absolutely does. I mean, he's down so many workers as well right now. He traded very, very, very well against all those Mutalisks early on, but he didn't really deal much economic damage, and with that, he knows he can't recover. GG is called. Solar takes game number 1. I was ready to count him out.
GG, well played. You saw that if herO hadn't lost all those probes, he was actually even with Solar. Like, that's kind of crazy to think about. It was very important for Solar to deal that counter damage, and herO didn't really intend the game to go on any longer. He wanted to go for that one kill move. He almost broke the back of Solar, but almost is not enough.
It really isn't. And with that, it looked pretty shaky, but Solar is going into our next map with a pretty comfortable 1-0 lead.
Oh yeah, it's a best of 5, of course, so plenty of games ahead of us, but Solar, the hard part is now over, but we're gonna have to remake because, oh, no, we're good.
Yeah.
For a moment
We got
there,
everyone in, yeah.
For a moment, Solar almost loaded in his Terran.
Yeah. That would have been sick to see, but I guess Solar did have some pretty competitive opponents ahead of him. I still remember when Dark pulled off his Protoss last week.
Oh yeah.
He was having fun.
I mean, it would be a good way to maybe trigger some PTSD. You know, Bunny did 3-0 the other week.
He did. He got that revenge from Atlanta. It's beautiful. But regardless, we are going to be continuing our best of 5 grand finals now on Tropical Sacrifice. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, fighting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have our red Protoss player coming down from the land of Korea. He, of course, is going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG. He is herO.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, we have his opponent, the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming, currently up 1-0 in this best of 5 series. It is Solar. Alright, here we go. So herO going for a variation of his Blinkstalker style, kind of transitioning into a very heavy commitment into a timing with 2 Colossi and 2 Disruptors. Honestly, it was looking pretty terrifying, and it didn't look like Solar had the correct answer to it, but he barely had enough reinforcements. He barely had enough coming out from his hatcheries to hold on. It was honestly pretty close.
It really, really was. If not for the counterattacks, then I think herO definitely would have eventually won that game. Or, you know, if herO was able to kill a base or 2, then again, we would have had a very different result. But Solar, it really feels like towards the end of the year now, he's really, really been reinvigorated. You know, he's tightened up. His play is so much crisper than it was a couple of months ago now.
Yeah, I agree. You know, Solar, even at the start of the year, you know, like 8 to 10 months ago, he wasn't looking too great. Like, he was obviously still one of the best players in South Korea, but there was a very clear distinction between him and Dark and Rogue, and he just was really struggling to keep up with the best of the best. You know, he was still up there, but there was a bit of a gap. So it is really cool to see him, as you were saying, just finding motivation once again to commit, to improve, to get better.
Yeah. Joining Onside has probably been the best thing to happen to him.
True. I'm sure Onside had a major play in Solar's kind of outlook on the game and how he's been able to approach practicing and improving. So yeah, it's been really cool to see. And we'll see if that culminates here once again against herO. Oh boy, as Solar, he's going for a very fast Baneling nest.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
My Bimba senses are tingling.
Solar, I think he's done droning. I think he's done. There is no third hatchery, by the way, and herO has no idea.
Yo, he's going for glaives, but what a glaive the depth's gonna do? Well, actually, if your control is tight enough, and if there was ever any player, Protoss player with tight control, it would be herO. He could try to, target fire down these Banelings, but I'm not liking his chances right now.
Oh my god.
He is being a bit more defensive. He is making sure that that wall is a wall, but there are no shield batteries.
There are no shield batteries. He has to react very quickly to this. The Banelings are going to make short work of these Adepts. The Stalker is on the wrong side. We do have the probe headed towards to make a third base. The Banelings reveal themselves. Up!
And they're looking to crash. The Zerglings are now here to buffer. Very big splash now. Oh, that Stalker was a very, very good move there for herO, but the probes were just a second off from coming in for a secondary wall.
Mates.
I think this is GG.
Yeah,
all of the production is depowered.
Yeah, we're down to only 2 gateways here. The natural is completely compromised. We see a full surround on the Adepts as well. The Baileys get their connections off, and there is nothing left, only probes to fight.
Shade could not save him. Decent probe drilling, but I don't think it's going to be enough. More and more Lings are flooding in. A Baneling is about to finish up right on top of all these probes. It's going to connect. GG is called. Solar now on match point. A very tough fought game number 1. A very quick game number 2. And now he's just sitting comfortable.
Wow, Solar punishing herO for not scouting across the map, for not confirming whether or not there was a third hatchery. herO being a little bit too greedy there. And yeah, just like that, in less than 5 minutes, he loses game 2.
He thought he was going to get a macro game just because the map was a macro map. Solar had other plans.
Solar had other plans, and just like that, Solar's 1 game away from becoming our champion this week, and I'm shocked. I didn't even say it, but I was about to say that if this is a 3-0, I'm gonna be surprised. Like, either way, like, there's no way that this is going to be that one-sided, but Solar is so close to making that a reality.
It absolutely is. Which is why we're going to see the herO reverse sweep from here. No. We'll see what happens.
I want a reverse sweep. I want to go to game 5. I want to go the distance, but yeah, herO, slipping up a little bit there. He needs to calm down, Poppy.
It really does. We'll see what that entails here. Maybe he's mad after game number 2. We are going into data under the sea, where of course here in the top right hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right hand around the 1 o'clock position of the map, we of course have our red Protoss player coming out from the land of Korea. He is down but not out yet. He's really gonna have to do something to turn this around. Representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG, he is herO.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of data under the sea, we have his opponent, the South Korean Zerg player representing On-Side Gaming. It is Solar.
Now, herO was definitely very eager to get into this map. I mean, in the lobby here, he was, saying just go, go, go. And now we see why.
He's going for a gate forge, so this is a macro cannon rush coming out from herO. We did see a hatch gas pull from Solar, so unlike the game against Jeshi, but he pulls the boys. He recognizes that something's wrong.
Yeah, he did get eyes on the fact that there was only a single pylon over in that natural base, and now he is responding correctly.
Yeah, the second probe actually turns around and the forge is cancelled.
Yo.
Wow.
Solar's already one-dimensional.
Wow, just like that, Solar has a bit of a lead in this series. A little bit of lost mining time, sure, but the Cyber Core, everything back across the map is delayed. Solar should recognize that upon scouting here the natural base and seeing the timing of all the buildings. So, a great start here for Solar.
Fantastic start, yeah. Oh man, let's see what he does with this. Let's see what he does with his early advantage. I mean, he's got a lot of options. Getting a couple of lings just to scout across the map, get a little bit of map control, but from here, he could be greedy, he could be aggressive, he could really do whatever.
Yeah, he really could. Again, this Adept is much later than it otherwise would be. We do see a Stargate behind this as well. Oh boy, and yeah, herO, I mean, it's a slight lead that Solar has. It isn't like a major thing, but every single little thing does add up over time, especially at the highest level of play. Solar, he's going to be able to get his third up and running. He's going to be pretty safe against any kind of Adept aggression for the time being. He has plenty of time to prepare for that Oracle.
Yeah, if he prepares. It's always possible. That's definitely one way to throw a lead.
It is. It definitely is, depending on the positioning here. We do see the Stargate finishing up. There we go. The first Oracle is going to be chronoed out for herO. Solar's a little bit in the dark as to this, but he should be going in shortly to try and figure out what is going on.
Appreciate this from herO. He doesn't want to waste any time getting a Void Ray to try to, chase down these Overlords or anything. He knows he's already been delayed, so he just wants to make sure he can go across the map and get a little bit of harassment damage done as quickly as possible.
Oh yeah, speaking of, there we go, the Oracle is zooming across the map. Back at home, Solar should be working on, 2 queens in the main base shortly. He's already has 2 queens at the natural. His third is bare bones, but he doesn't have any drones here anyway, so it doesn't matter. So even though he doesn't have any spores ready, he should have enough queens to push this Oracle back.
Yeah, he's slowly getting them in position. 1 Oracle is not the most threatening thing in the world. 2 Oracles, though, that's where you're starting to get a problem. 2 Oracles and 2 Adepts, now you gotta be careful.
Ooh, exactly. Here we go. The Adepts are threatening to shade in towards the natural base. We have Lings to keep up with the shade, though, and it looks like they will not commit.
Yeah, smart move. Just keeping Solar on his toes. Doesn't want to give up his only map presence just yet. Bit of an earlier Evo chamber coming out here from Solar, so yeah, it looks like he is planning to go for the more orthodox response to the 2 Blink Stalkers if we get Blink Stalkers.
Oh, exactly. We should be getting into +1 melee. Meanwhile, these Oracles have been looking for some damage. They finally get 1, 2 drones, and they do force a lot of lost mining time here, forcing a bit of chaos from Solar. They dip in towards the natural. They get a couple more drones.
Yeah, there's a Spore to act as a little bit of a deterrent here on these Oracles, but other than that, a couple more drones will go down. Whatever damage herO can get done is going to be a net positive for him.
Yeah, and what's important is that this is more than what herO was able to accomplish in the first game, and I do think that's very important to take note of. There we go, more drones are going down. Like Solar, herO is finding weak points here in the defense, in the armor, and so far he hasn't lost anything.
He really hasn't. Taking a little bit of hull damage in the Oracles, but if you have Oracles that haven't taken hull damage, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, you have to make use of every little bit of HP and shields that they have. At the same time, herO is not going for Blink. He's going from triple Oracle into Charge.
Which is a much better response against +1 Lings, especially when you throw in a couple of Archons with that splash damage.
Oof. And again, this is just something we don't see enough of. Oh my god, the triple Oracle go back in. 4 more drones go down. Despite the defenses of Solar, his queens have had a really hard time keeping up with these Oracles. And in total, 10 drones have gone down. Look at the units lost now.
That's quite a lot. herO was forced to cancel 1 unit, I guess, which is where those 37 minerals come from. The Forge, yeah, that's what it was. But he hasn't lost a single unit or building so far in this game.
Yeah, exactly. Hasn't lost anything again. herO really flexing his control. Meanwhile, we have an Archon drop coming across the map. This can do wonders against Lings, can do wonders against these queens. The Gateway Explosion is already here. Yeah,
Solar has recognized that Archons and Charges coming his way. He's getting a couple of Roaches out now getting the Baneling Nest, but I
Queens.
think it's too little too late. There's a massive window of opportunity here. The high energy Queens! One of them gets taken out.
Oh my.
And the rest are looking to follow.
And mate, the Archons are dropped immediately on top of these Lings as well. The Zealots are going hand. We have another massive warp in here of Zealots, and there's not enough anti-air to focus down the Prism.
GG is called. herO is going to be fighting back in this series.
GG. herO had a 4th base behind this. He had Blink on the way. He had +1 armor as well. That was a very crisp +1 timing. And because of all the economic damage, because of how many drones that were falling that had to be replaced, Solar just didn't have a standing army to deal with that. Very, very powerful play from herO.
Absolutely. It almost felt like the fact that the start didn't go his way, the fact that he was forced to cancel that Forge, actually ended up working out for him inadvertently, because he just knew he was behind, and he just tightened up every single aspect of his play after the opening didn't work out for him. As a result, we eventually got to the point where he was just able to roll on top of Solar.
He just rolled on in, and oh boy, now where do things fall here? I mean, we'll see if herO can make the comeback a reality. He puts a point on the board. Can he take it to the ace match?
Yeah, and then from there, can you take the finals? We'll see. We're loading into the more Protoss favorite map here for game number 4. So that might be a little bit of a sign of things to come.
We'll see, mate. We'll see. Personally, I hope so, but Cosmic Sapphire is quite a large map, and yeah, we'll see if herO is able to overcome that, if he's able to hit another crisp timing.
We shall see as we load into Cosmic Sapphire, the more Protoss favorite map, but we'll see what our players make use of it. In the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in that top left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss player coming out from the land of Korea. He, of course, is going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG, Smiling Assassin himself, the wielder of crowbars, as some have taken to calling him. He is herO.
And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have his opponent, the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. 1 game away from becoming this week's champion. It is Solar.
This is ended.
He needs to end it, Papi.
He really does. Every time we load into Cosmic Sapphire in the PvZ, my mind always goes back to Azura. Azura versus Demi, where Azura went for that mothership and just snuck it around into the main base. That was beautiful to behold.
It's you know, not a lot of people know Azura, but we will forever remember him fondly.
Yep.
Oh god. So I don't think we're gonna see anything quite like what Azura did against Demi, but we'll see how things do come together here. This time, no Forge.
Yep. Not even a macro Forge opener whatsoever, just a no Forge opener at all coming out here from herO.
You love to see it. You love to see it. So a much more straight up game coming out here. herO doesn't have to worry about canceling or setting himself behind. Oh boy, as thank you so much to the owner of Onside Gaming for tipping $25. Thank you so much.
Hey,
we appreciate it. We always do try and yeah, do the best we can when we happen to cover your players. Thank you. Thank you.
We absolutely do. Hey, you know what? That's why Solar is going to be the champion this week. You know, let's go Onside.
No bias whatsoever. Oh my god. I mean, we have a pretty close connection to Onside because we are very close to CranKy, to J1 Choi. So we have that connection anyway. So it's kind of hard to get rid of that bias. One day we'll be able to do something together. I believe, Bobby. I believe.
Yeah, one day. We're gonna have a LAN? Question mark? I
I don't know. Oh god. But for the time being, so far, the openers seem pretty standard. We do see Solo going for his third hatchery. He's not working on any early Evo chamber. herO, once again, just like he has every game so far, goes for a Stargate opener.
Mm-hmm. Why break a winning play is what herO is really thinking right now.
Yeah, why break what isn't broken, as it looks like the Overlord is going to get sniped here by this Stalker. The Stalker is a little bit sus, but the Oracle was revealed. Solo going to be applying a little bit of pressure here. herO immediately going for his third Nexus.
Might as well with the Oracles. You do have that map control. Not being as aggressive this time with his Oracles or with his Adepts. I think that's the right move on a map like Cosmic Sapphire. It's way larger, way more open. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to turn around with these Oracles or with those Adepts if a bunch of Lings suddenly do pop by into third base.
Yeah, exactly. If you're committed across the map, it can be difficult to kind of turn around in the moments and defend back at home. So yeah, a little bit less of an aggressive style this time from herO. He's going to be a little bit more defensive, a little bit more passive. His Oracles are going to dip on in, try and see what they can get, but for the time being, don't find too much success. Two Queens waiting in the main base as well. Yeah, so far the positioning from Solar far better than that of the previous game, but I spoke too soon.
Yeah, still gonna lose a bunch of drones here. Only 3 so far. 4 so far. 5?
Oh.
No, 4. But at the cost of none of his Oracles, actually. A couple of them very low, though. One volley would take out both of these Oracles.
Yeah, very close there. We do see herO flying right up to the sun, but at least he keeps him alive. Meanwhile, there is that +1 melee. There's the Baneling Nest. Solar is making a wave of Lings to, I imagine, try and punish this third base.
Yeah, it's probably his best course of action from here. And before herO can really throw down all his side defenses, really establish that Sim City.
Yeah, this is a very big commitment here. Solar is going to be cutting at 45 workers. He has pulled out of gas completely. He's making nothing but Ling Bane, looking to try to end the game. We don't have a shield battery at the natural. We do have a Stalker, a pretty solid wall, don't get us wrong, but Solar is looking to bust down that wall.
That was exactly what I was about to ask you, Light. Does Solar just want to go into the natural? And yeah, apparently he does.
Yeah, he wants to avoid, and there we go, the Ling checks to see if there was a shield battery, confirming, okay, the natural is looking very vulnerable indeed. The Banelings are rushing on forward here. Do you have a defensive warp and no sentries?
And you know what? herO just decided to go for a 4th base. I think that might, we'll see. That might be what kills him, but he is defending so hard in this natural base. The sentries are the absolute MVPs right now. A lot of Banelings being popped unnecessarily.
Yeah, this is hitting with +1 melee, but with the overcharge, Solar's force back. GG gets called, and just like that, herO defends, and herO takes it to the ace match.
Yo, a complete reversal. A tropical sacrifice here. This time herO was able to defend, and honestly, it was a very close defense this time, compared to on Tropical Sacrifice. Solar looked a little bit indecisive. He had to hit either the third or the natural base, and I think he would have been able to bust on through either one of those if he committed, but he was kind of split between, his focus was kind of split between the two. You could see his army kind of get split up as well, thinking, okay, should I deal with these stalkers or should I just bust through the wall? In the end, that bought herO more than enough time to get a couple more warp-ins and a wall, and yeah, that 4th base in the end. There was no way Solar could recover from that.
Yeah, like, I also think that maybe Solar, his execution of the Bane bust was a little bit haphazard. We saw that he tried to bust through that Stalker. Immediately, herO started warping in those sentries, and there were a couple of Lings in front of those Banelings. So the Banelings, it actually took him like an extra second or two to detonate on that Stalker and flood on in, and that extra second is all that it takes for sentries to finish up and to get their force fields off. So if the natural was broken, if the Lings were able to flood in, I think that may have just been maybe even it, but herO just had such a quick reaction to defend.
He really did, and I just realized what map that we're gonna have our ace match on, Light. I don't foresee this map or this game going on much longer than the previous ones. We are loading into Moondance to conclude our best of 5 grand finals now. I almost can't believe it myself. I have to like double check my memory. I'm like, but yeah, we're already in the ace match of our grand finals here in the top left-hand corner in the map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner. We have our red Protoss player coming out from the land of Korea, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming and looking to make that full-on reverse sweep. He's got a momentum on his side. He is herO.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Moondance, we have his opponent, the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. It is Solar.
Started so well. I mean, he got to match point in 15 minutes. And then another 15 minutes, herO was able to take us to our ace match.
It's been a pretty
quick... to balance things out, this has to be a 15-minute game.
It's been a pretty short series, all things considered. You know, we've had a lot of timing attacks. We've had a lot of really crisp aggression from both players, to be fair. We haven't really seen a longer, drawn-out macro game, and I don't think that's what our players want. I think that's kind of what we're getting from them. You know, they want to end things early. They want to try and snipe their opponents whenever they can. Because of that, it's just been really back and forth.
Yeah. But I don't think either of our players really wants to risk it all here on the ace match, especially on a map that's as precarious as Moondance.
Yeah, it's the shortest rush distance in the entire map pool, so ground aggression can hit that much faster. But if it doesn't work, you have a pocket base to fall back on, so it can be difficult to try and commit to a big push to break the natural base unscouted. So I imagine this is going to be a little bit longer, but we'll see.
It's a map that somehow is every bit as aggressive as it is defensive.
Yeah, it's aggressive, it's defensive, it's all things that a map could be. I know
it's all the sibs.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have very strong opinions about pocket bases and their place in the game. I remember, I think less than 24 hours ago, Skillus made like a tweet or something regarding this, about their place in StarCraft and kind of what they promote. But we're here in the ace match of herO versus Solar, and we'll see if they make use of it.
Yeah. Indeed, we shall. So far, neither player opting to go for it, which makes sense. We're still pretty early on. If you take the pocket base as your third, or God forbid, your natural base as a zero player, something is wrong. So you get your license revoked and you're forced to change race.
Oh, it's illegal. Yeah, it's you get sent to jail. As we do.
What is Zerg jail? what would Zerg jail look like?
You're stuck with a bunch of Terrans, mate. It's
a smoging.
The smoging is real. We do have that one adept trying to be a little bit annoying. Can he get one drone? It looks like, ooh, quick spore trick there. 0 drone kills for the adept, but in comes the Oracle as herO takes a fast third as that pocket.
May as well. Very, very aggressive harass coming out from herO. A little bit reckless, all things considered. But he should be able to keep this Oracle alive at the very least.
Yeah, the Oracle survives, getting 2 drone kills, forcing some lost mining time here in the main base. Meanwhile, we do see herO transitioning immediately here into a Twilight Council and into a Forge. Oh boy. So yeah, herO honestly is looking quite solid so far, as long as he doesn't throw away his Oracles.
Yeah, and I like this from herO. He stops at double Oracle this time. He's not going to be keeping up the harass for too much longer. Instead, he gets a much quicker Forge and a much quicker Twilight Council.
Yeah, you can afford to be this greedy here because there's no way your third base is going to be denied by any kind of Ling run by. You can be that much more aggressive with your Adepts as well. It is the feature of this map. So herO adapting quite well here to Moondance. As we do have Blink and +1, but we also have a defensive Sentry Beam morphed in as well.
Might as well, honestly. After what happened in Cosmic Sapphire.
That's what I mean. Like, in the back of herO's mind, he's a little bit afraid of potentially a Bane bust, so he is preparing just in case that were to happen.
Yeah, and you should just about be safe for that. he should be feeling pretty comfortable to just tech up in that direction that he wants to. Robo Facility getting thrown down here. Are we feeling Disruptors or are we feeling Immortals? What say you, like?
That's a good question. I mean, the Roach Warren was just scattered, so he knows that Ling Roach is going to be the composition of choice. I wouldn't be opposed to Disruptors, but we'll see as herO is going for a massive Gateway Explosion.
All of them. He might not even get Immortals or anything from there. He might just get a Warp Prism and just continually warp in Stalker after Stalker after Stalker.
Yeah, it is quite possible. We do have a 4th base behind this for herO, so he's not going all in like he did previously on Data C. He's not going for any kind of massive timing. I say Data C, but really I meant to say inside and out. Meanwhile, from that Robo, there you called it. There's that Prism.
Yeah. To move it across the map very, very shortly. Solar has no eyes on this, but he's still getting his defensive units regardless. With the Lalu Constitution coming out, +1 melee, Baneling Nest now in production, so yeah, it's really on Solar now to be able to scout what's coming his way and react accordingly.
Yeah, so far he's just been focusing on droning and taking more bases. He has a bit of a standing army, but just enough to deflect any kind of adept aggression, as there is that Robotic Spade to get into Disruptors or Colossi, or even both, depending on what herO wanted. And here in Game 5, we are getting a longer game.
There we go. Game's gotta last at least 15 minutes just to balance things out.
Oh, exactly. We needed to see a longer macro game here. We do have our upgrades finishing up for Solar. He's getting his 4th base fully operational. He can take a 5th as his pocket if he so wishes. And herO is going to be trying to scout a little bit here with this hallucination, just confirming the tech, confirming the bases.
And not the biggest deals. He knows that he is safe to just continue getting Disruptors, continue getting Zealots and Charge as well. Not really going to be committing to any particular timings just yet, but he is just going to make sure that he's active on the map while he reaches his final form.
Definitely. Like, he is just trying to poke and prod and just do whatever he can to slow Solar down. There is that 5th base, a little bit exposed, but yeah, Solar, he's quick to respond as well with his Lings, with his Roaches, with his Ravagers. Both players being pretty passive overall here, and I do think that that may just be a little bit better here for the Zerg player. Infestation Pit's on the way to eventually get into Hive, to get into Adrenal Glands. Like, Solar is done droning, he's looking to max out.
Yeah, 80 workers, a little bit on the low end when we're talking about the ultra late game economy here. But for an earlier late game, well worth it. You might as well get more army supplies so you can get more adrenal gland lings and the like.
Yeah, and I really worry for herO. He's going to be pushing up this ramp. He does have 1 Disruptor with his army, but only a single Disruptor. The Nova's going to be going up, connecting with the Baneling. He's not bad, but Solar's going for a surround.
Full on surround. Oh, so many Banelings crash into the army. This is only with +1, mind you. Disruptors are definitely a little bit cut out. Great split at the end here from Solar.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, a massive Zealot run by, however, will take out a hatchery and will take out 9 drones.
Yeah, but the thing is that this will be completely cleaned up by the Lings, by the Ravager Bile. Solar did lose a base, but he has the momentum right now. He could potentially go for a counterattack. For the time being, though, he's gonna back off. He's waiting for the Hive. He's waiting for more Banelings.
And once they finish up, all he needs to do is walk across the map.
Yeah, exactly. He was able to kill one of those Disruptors as well. Of course, this Prism is going to be in the back of his mind. It is still alive and can always threaten the hatcheries of Solar, so he has to be a little bit careful about that. Meanwhile, we were talking about it. There is Adrenal Glands. Vipers are coming out. Finally, a little bit of anti-air to help deal with the Prism.
Yeah, it's something. We saw this style of anti-air defense work out really, really well for Solar in his series against Beyond. How well will it work against a Warp Prism, though? We're about to find out.
Yeah, we do have a drop here into the pocket base. Oh, 3 drones going down already. A lot of lost mining time. We do see Solar's going to be able to respond, but he can't really deal with the Prism, at least until he gets more energy on these Vipers.
Yeah, that was a very important scout for herO as well, seeing that Viper pop out with his Warp Prism. very massive pick off here for Solar, taking out basically an entire mineral line worth of probes.
Yeah, 16 probes, 15 probes are going to be going down here. The Prism is still alive, but the Vipers are just sucking on some buildings, gathering all that energy. Another bailing run by being set up here on the left-hand side.
This time it does get caught by the Stalkers.
Oh.
A little bit of wasted gas, but still able to connect most of them with the army in the end.
Yeah, punishing the offensive blink of those Stalkers. Meanwhile, herO is getting ready for a massive assault. There's not a lot of creep here in the middle of the map, and that's a lot of disruptors.
Oh yeah, a lot of disruptors, a lot of stalkers, a lot of zealots, a little bit of surrounding set up here. Beautiful yoinks though, on top of these disruptors just after they shot their Novas off. Every single purification Nova was forfeit, but the beefiness of herO's army does mean that he's still able to break on through.
Yeah, the Blink Stalkers and the Zealots still break on through anyway, despite the amazing abducts. 2 disruptors survive. We have a 3rd disruptor as well. It's a little bit risky to morph in the Banelings here. It looks like herO, he's going to dive on top of this.
Yo, 1 or 2 good Novas will force the cancel. herO is pushing into Solar's defenses, so it's still going to be pretty tough for him, but he definitely has some momentum on his side. Another great yoink.
Oh my God.
That purification Nova would have taken out every single roach if not for that yoink.
Yeah, Solar is so patient. I was kind of thinking if maybe he should use maybe even a blinding cloud on those Stalkers to stop their DPS, but no, he is waiting for the disruptors. He knows that that is his answer to them, and Solar is going to be able to rebuild and remax. Meanwhile, herO was able to recreate all those workers that he lost earlier. He is taking his own sick base.
Yeah, just making sure that he can stand up to the economic might of Solar. And I do like this. He's finally recognized that he needs a source of AoE that's a little bit more reliable, so he is opting for Temple Archives now.
Yeah.
Storm's a great zoning tool. Archons always pack a punch.
They really do. Meanwhile, it looks like herO is being distracted right now, but who's really distracting who? We do have the disruptors here in the middle of the map. It looks like they will not be going off.
Yeah, will instead be sniped, just like so.
Up. Yeah, a couple
Disruptors are... Yeah, a couple of Banelings do connect to that army. Disruptors were looking a little bit exposed, but there was enough of an army for Solar to deal with that.
Yeah, meanwhile, we have a massive warp of Zealots here into the main base. Solar's being pulled apart right now. The main army is pushing on forward. The disruptors are exposed, but the Novas go up.
This time there were no Vipers to yoink the abducts, or to yoink the disruptors.
Yeah, but you know what? The Lings are flooding on in. They're getting on top of the disruptors. Only 2 of them are left. The Vipers move on forward as well. They have to be careful not to be focused out by those Stalkers.
Yeah, one of them's already on half health. Really good target firing from these Stalkers, but those are some good abducts on these Vipers. One of them with a lot of energy will go down, which is always unfortunate. Solar's definitely taken a very, very bad beating. I mean, I look at the supplies, and I always see Solar has like almost twice the army supply, but he's still not quite able to prevent all this economic damage that herO's doing. Solar just went from 80 plus workers to 76.
I mean, it's always important to bear in mind that we have mainly a roach army, and it is inflated supply. We do see a disruptor coming into flank, but it looks like the disruptor does get sniped barely in time.
Couple of good zoning biles as well will stem the tide of these stalkers. And yeah, I think I have to agree with you with the point about these roaches. They are absolutely inflated supply. Solar is ahead, but it's not very impactful supply that he's got.
It really isn't. Like, Lingbane Roach Ravager isn't bad, but you need an economy to sustain it, and Solar is down to 5 bases. He needs to get a 6th up and running. He needs to regain control of his economic situation. He goes for a bit of a Ling run by, but there's plenty at home to defend.
Yeah, these Lings just run in circles over and over and over again, unable to really get much of any damage done.
Yeah, and now hero's going to push right through the center of the map. What do we have to defend? Do we have any Vipers left over? We have a single Viper. We have 2 more on the way, but they won't have enough energy to deal with what's coming.
2 Disruptors and a Dream, a whole ton of Zealots, and a whole ton of Stalkers and a Dream.
Yeah.
So go down.
I mean, a lot of Zealots do go down to the Banelings, but we have another reinforcing wave as well. Every single Disruptor is going to be targeted down, so great abducts from Solar.
They absolutely were. Meanwhile, a really good bailing run by, I want to say, was able to, keep the worker count of herO pretty low. But I just glanced at a production tab. Like, herO's producing 6 probes at a time.
That's a lot of probes, man. He's going to be replacing that very, very quickly. I do think Solar, though, resetting that disruptor count is pretty huge, and I think because of that, he's not going to be in the worst position. He kept his Vipers alive as well. It looks like he's finally getting a little bit more breathing room in this game.
Yeah, if he can trade decently enough here, which he has, he can find himself a little bit of an opening here. He is already sort of chasing down these exposed units. Beautiful sandwich! I say that a lot. But yeah, that was really good surround here from Solar.
Oh, it really was. He is able to punish at least some of those Stalkers, does end up getting them down in the end. The Viper count looking quite healthy. Link Bane is being replaced. We are lacking a little bit in some of these upgrades. The Hive is done, but Solar, he's more concerned with just making army right now, with just trying to resaturate these bases. Another bailing run by being set up here on the right-hand side.
Yeah, again, whatever Solar can really do to keep herO's economy down. You can recover very, very quickly from worker loss, but you still don't want to be spending. You know, we're starting to get into the really late game part of the map, right? We're starting to see a split map scenario. Every single mineral counts. You don't want to be spending it on workers.
Yeah, and we have a recall here. The Bailing run by doesn't do enough. At the same time, a Zealot run by does eviscerate the mineral line. 9 drones go down from the side of Solar, so yeah, ends up wasting a lot of supply in that run by. Does weaken the defenses, I guess, so maybe Solar can have better luck if he goes again.
Yeah, SimCity's not looking as great, and Solar is setting up for another little run by. So is herO, though, and they're going to meet each other.
Oh, they are going to meet each other in the end. How good the Bailing Ganesh is going to be? Not too bad at all, but there's still so many more Zealots.
They really are. And they're coming.
They are coming.
I have not even noticed that Solar's creep spread has been reduced to such a small amount.
Yeah, it's not really what he wants to be working with right now. We do see the Ravager's going to be able to zone away some of these units with their biles. Another yoink on the final disruptor.
And some decent yoinks on the Archons as well. That's what we needed. A number of times, blinding clouds on top of this army just to try to zone them away at the very least.
Yeah, exactly. So honestly, Solar takes a really great fight here. He leaves his units a little bit idle. One Viper goes down, but Solar cleans up the Zealot run by on the right-hand side, and now he can consolidate his army. He can focus on the assault on the left.
And now he's looking to counterattack.
Yeah, here we go.
Queens.
The Queens are here to help support with a bit of anti-air, with some more creep spread. The Banelings are being morphed on in. The Vipers have arrived. And I don't know if herO can stop this assault, especially not without disruptors.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have any backbone units. He kinda has Archons, he kinda has Immortals, but like you said, he doesn't have any disruptors. He doesn't have any Colossus, any Skytoss. You know, really, really key units, backbone units, that can single-handedly change the tide of the game. Oh, that was a decent Nova.
Yeah, decent Nova. Zealots come in for a bit of a pseudo surround. The Banelings roll on forward as well. They do get connections, but on Archons and Immortals.
Not the most efficient trade here for Solar. And we're not quite at the point where Solar can just trade inefficiently and just bleed. And just force herO to bleed to death.
Yeah, herO, he snipes a hatchery, he goes for the recall, does back on up. Meanwhile, Solar himself is going to try and force a cancel on this Nexus.
Should be able to get it? No. Apparently the army is enough. The Protoss army is enough of a deterrent.
Yeah, Solar being forced back, and Solar's struggling economically, by the way. He doesn't have a lot of minerals to work with, not anymore. He's running out of patches. He needs to get some of these bases up and running. herO has been the one just aggressively expanding towards his opponent and holding on to these bases.
Yeah. That's 1 fewer base for Solar. Eventually 2 fewer, 3 fewer. He's just gonna have no more bases to take.
Yeah, Solar's trying to expand here on the right-hand side. He's double expanding. Meanwhile, Bailing run by on the left-hand side does slip in.
Entire mineral line goes down once again, but yeah, we are kind of at the point where worker damage is good. You should always try to get it when you can, but it's not going to be as impactful here, especially with herO already ahead and already looking to immediately recover with 2 volleys of probes. He's making 8 at a time. That's how many nexuses he has.
Yeah, it doesn't take long at all to resaturate. It's crazy. A couple of high tempo are being caught out though. Meanwhile, herO doesn't turn around. We're trading another base for a base, but I think this is a little bit more important for Solar.
It absolutely is. I mean, this is one of several fresh bases of herO. This is the one fresh base that Solar has.
Yeah, exactly. And here we go. Solar turns around. He's forced to engage, forced to go for a fight. The hatchery ends up falling. At the same time, herO also lost 24 probes.
He did. Very good feedback on top of that Viper. It was at the very least able to throw out a yoink on that Disruptor, but without any blinding clouds, it's really hard to see how Solar stems this tide. I think herO, as long as he pays attention and doesn't throw away his army, I think he's done it.
Yeah, he successfully transitioned to a more robust army of Archons and Immortals. From here, we need to get into Lurkers or Broodlords, and it's too little too late. Ling Bane Roach Ravager is not going to be enough for Solar. We have an aggressive Link forward on top of these Banelings, and GG gets called.
herO is able to completely reverse sweep that. He was down 0-2 in 15 minutes, and now after not long himself, he was able to completely turn that series on his head and win. GG. Well, oh man, very quick tournament that we've had here today. Honestly, a very quick finals, barring that ace match, but a very close, very exciting finals nonetheless.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. It was beautiful. GG, well played to herO for going for the reverse sweep. That final game was really back and forth, but we saw that Solar, he had like a certain amount of longevity with that composition. I think that you can move forward with that with Lingbane Roach Ravager if you have the economy to sustain it, but we saw that he just kept losing hatcheries, he kept losing workers, he just wasn't able to really get into a comfortable position where he could just keep trading Lingbane Roach Ravager and just keep trading. He ran out of steam at a certain point, and herO, he was full of it, full of the steam, Bobby.
Yeah. Well, it's up in him. It was blowing out his ears. He was angry after the Bane bust.
Oh god, he was angry, and yeah, really well done there by herO, just really showing that at least, you know, even a mindset mental wise, like you can be down 2-0 in a series and he fights back hard.
Fights back and wins eventually. Oh man. It has just crossed over the 3-hour mark. That was a very short tournament that we've had, but very, very potent, very sweet tournament we had. I don't think that was... Okay, Bjorn versus Solar was a 2-0, but even then it was a pretty... Even then they were 2 fairly close games.
Oh yeah, very close games indeed. Not so much game number 2, but...
not so much in Stargazers, but... Data C was very close. Yeah.
It was a treat to watch. So thank you so much everyone for joining us here for our road in ESL Open Cup Asia. We had a lot of great games, this week, and it could be a little bit telling of the form of some of these players going into Home Story Cup. Also, it was recently announced that I think this week was the final week where the weekly tournaments provide EPT points.
Oh.
The weeklies will continue, obviously, but moving forward, I think after Home Story Cup, there won't be a way to get more of those points.
There we go. Home Story Cup. It really is the last chance, in a way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're just about rounding up all of our players who are going to be in Katowice. I think most of them have been confirmed, but, you know, the Home Story Cup is going to be one last shot to get there, you know?
Oh yeah.
If things work out, you know, with a little bit of luck, we could see Patty Mac sort of slip into Katowice next year.
He could slip on in. It is possible. So yeah, be sure you tune in to Home Story Cup. It's going to be a great tournament over the next week. Great weekend events. It's going to absolutely destroy our sleep schedules if we try to watch it live, and I'm sure we'll do our best to do so.
Yeah.
To absolutely ruin our sleep schedules. Oh boy.
Yep. I'm going to go down to like the sports bar and just change the channel.
Oh boy.
Everybody watching the World Cup, and we're like, nope.
Nope. It's time for Home Story Cup, buddy. It's time for Home Story
Yeah,
Cup. So,
boy.
yeah, it's going to be a great final bookend for the year for 2022 when it comes to these major online events. And I hope everyone had looks forward to it and tunes in. It's definitely one to not to miss.
It really isn't. Yeah. Oh man, I'm so sad. I saw one suggestion in chat earlier on. I wasn't able to mention it till now. They could dress up Gabe as Harry Potter. The more I think about it, the more it makes sense.
That was when we were talking about the Halloween, the dress ups.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, is that not the theme for this Home Story Cup?
The theme hasn't been revealed, if I'm not mistaken. So, you got a lot to live up to. We need a solid theme for the final event of the year. I hope it isn't too serious.
The Terran house, the Zerg house, the Protoss house. They kind of did that with Lost Island.
Yeah.
They kind of did that with the mini games, you know. Which race was allowed to leave?
Yeah, which house was able to not clean up the night before the party, well, the night after the party. Sorry, but yeah, GG, well played to herO and also herO as well for getting second place. You know, he didn't have an easy road to get to second place, so really well won and well deserved to make it that far. And I hope everyone in the chat did have a great time. Yaku, thank you so much for joining me. I know we haven't been able to cast as often this year as we usually do, but at least, you know, towards the end, we're making up for it.
Yeah. With the one final EPT tournament.
Exactly.
No. We'll still try to cast the other ESL Asias. Whenever we can.
We'll do our best. And with that, thank you so much for watching. Our next broadcast is going to be in a couple of hours, 6 hours from now. There is World Team League, but we will not be casting it. We instead will be covering OSC King of the Hill. Unfortunately, it's at the same time, but World Team League has usually multiple English casters, you know, Steadfast, Wardy, sometimes even Dave Tesla or Biomorph. I think they do replay casts later on. But regardless, there should be another English stream covering World Team League for you. We will be busy with some King of the Hill.
Yeah, go check some of those guys out.
Oh yeah, check them out. With that, Yaku.
Yes.
December stream. When's that happening?
Yes, eventually. You know, I'll figure out the new OBS update eventually. What are they on? Version 8.0, 1.8, something like that. 10.0.8. The one where they changed the UI. Eventually, you know.
There we go. So, you know, I'm sure we'll get a Yaku stream at some point this month. Be sure to follow him on Twitch to find out when that happens.
Yeah. Twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1, Twitter.com @EmperorYakuzaku. Kuro actually streamed more than I did this year, which is pretty cool.
True.
Yeah.
There you go. So you can follow Yaku there. Meanwhile, you can follow me at @light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. I do stream throughout the week. I don't stream on the weekends because we are very busy with all of our casting, and I do have to rest and get some food and get ready for the next broadcast. But starting tomorrow, we will be having a couple of ladder streams to try and round out the week. We also should be having some DreamHack casts as well this week. It kind of depends on how we feel. There's no rush to get through them, but we do want to try and finish them off before the next patch, because otherwise the replays will break.
Replay casts to whatchamacallit. Yeah, there is going to be another DreamHack all of a sudden in the middle of December. They ESL release replays, and we've had our eyes on a couple of these.
Oh yeah. We finished up Group Stage 1 a couple of weeks ago. We still have Group Stage 2, Group Stage 3, and the knockout brackets. So we do have quite a lot lined up. For those wondering what we're doing with the DreamHack replay cast, we are not touching any games that were covered by the mainstream or any of the side streams. We are just focusing on like high profile matches that weren't broadcasted, period, which deserve to be casted. And honestly, it didn't disappoint. We've had a lot of fun already with what we've been able to witness, and hopefully we witness some more insane games.
And those groups, the early group stages of DreamHack, man, those are the ones where, especially in, I think, the second round, because the players, sort of realize that there is a knockout bracket, and then they also realize that, you know what, this is, I don't know what it is, but I guess it's kind of the regions coming together. They get wild.
Oh, they get crazy, they get crazy. So thank you so much, everyone, for the support. Shout out to of course Onside Gaming for the donation. Shout out to Air Orange for the subs, and we will be heading out for the night. Again, stay tuned. In 6 hours we'll be back with King of the Hill.
We'll see you then. Yeah.